Lieutenant Governor of the state of Florida, Jeanette Nunez. Lieutenant Governor, great to have you on this morning. Can you take us through how your investigation is going to be different from what both the FBI are doing and what local authorities in Pennsylvania have been doing for the last 64 days?
Certainly, and what you saw with Governor DeSantis' announcement is that obviously we are a law and order state. The governor has prided himself on making sure that here in Florida, we are going to hold criminals and we're going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. And so that's why I think it's so important that the governor made that announcement, that he is doing this investigation, because you're right. This is the second assassination attempt. And where is all the information that they claimed they were going to bring forward to the American public? Where is the accountability? Where is the transparency? That is something that here in Florida, we're going to continue to push, and we're going to make sure that this investigation brings that clarity, that we understand this would-be assassin, all of the charges that are potentially going to be lining up against him. And to the governor's point, how can you trust the very same agencies that have been weaponized for the past several years, that are prosecuting the former president currently at this time, to not only to comply with the terms of an investigation, but to be fair and to continue to protect him? I think there are some serious questions that the American public needs answers to, and Governor DeSantis is committed to providing those answers.
I'm glad to hear that. I think the American people will be glad to hear that. Can you just give me an idea of when we'll get some just answers to very basic questions? We've got this guy in custody. He's in Florida right now. I interviewed the sheriff of Martin County. We've invited him back for tomorrow morning. How does this suspect, who is an unemployed roofer, by the way, so no feasible means of income, and it's not like he was independently wealthy, how does he pay to fly from Hawaii to Florida? Where was he staying? How did he afford to buy that Nissan SUV that he was pulled over in? How was he affording to fly from Hawaii to Washington, D.C. and Ukraine? He'd gone back and forth to Ukraine several times. Who's paying for all this? Where did he get the money? Where did he get the gun? Did he buy the gun legally? If so, how did he do that with a weapons of mass destruction arrest on his permanent record? How was he able to buy an AK-47? These are all basic questions that I think we deserve answers to, like now.
Indeed, and those are serious questions, and that's why the governor decided to step up and lead a serious investigation, one that's going to be it's going to be focused on accountability and transparency and timeliness. I think you heard him say expeditiously, which is why our Florida Department of Law Enforcement, our Florida Highway Patrol, our sheriff's office, that we coordinate and work with them each and every day on many issues. That's why they're all involved, because we understand that the American public is desperate for answers. They've been desperate since Butler, Pennsylvania, and we've heard absolutely nothing. Congress has a whole committee. They're looking at all these issues. They're talking about the Secret Service, but yet nothing gets done. But here in the state of Florida, I can assure you, the governor is going to be very clear, and he's going to be very focused on bringing that information in a timely manner that's going to provide all the clarity that people need and deserve, and those answers to the very questions that you were asking. How is it that this came to be? How is it that he was within hundreds of yards of the president? How is it that Secret Service didn't do the sweep? So many more questions, but what I can tell you from the standpoint of state charges, that's why the Office of Statewide Prosecutor is also involved, because it was a multi-jurisdiction, multiple counties, that he was crossing county lines. So a lot of questions, but I assure you the governor is going to come forth and he's going to provide information to the public so they see that we mean business here in the state of Florida.
Lieutenant Governor, just about 30 seconds, but how much do you blame Democrat rhetoric and rhetoric from the media for the assassination attempts on Donald Trump?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. They love to talk about, our side and the fiery rhetoric and how we're a threat to democracy. There is no greater threat to democracy than what is happening. It's a travesty, and the people deserve answers, which is why Governor DeSantis and myself, we're going to continue to push and make sure that the public knows exactly what happened, how it happened, what the motives were, and how all of those pieces of the puzzle come together. So we're going to make sure to provide those answers. And I'm so proud of Governor DeSantis for leading the charge on this.